The cafeteria was loud, silverware clinking, boots stomping, radios buzzing, yet the moment the single-dad janitor rushed in, everything inside Emma Walker froze. His eyes, usually soft and tired, were filled with something she had never seen before. Fear. He stepped close, lowering his voice so only she could hear. "You're in danger," he whispered. "Pretend I'm your wife. Now." Her breath caught. Why would a janitor, a quiet single father who barely spoke, risk everything to warn her? And before she could even form a question, a shadow appeared behind them, and the truth was far more terrifying than she ever imagined. Most people passed Jacob Miller without a second glance. He was the base janitor, the man pushing a mop, fixing leaky pipes, sweeping the corners others ignored. A widowed single father raising his 8-year-old daughter Lily alone, Jacob lived quietly, humbly, almost invisibly. But invisibility sometimes hides more than sorrow. Sometimes it hides a past. Emma Walker, the new logistics officer at the Naval Training Facility, had always been curious about Jacob. He carried himself differently, too upright, too aware. His eyes studied rooms like a man who measured threats. Yet he never bragged, never corrected anyone when they assumed he was just a janitor. Emma had spoken to him only twice, once when he helped her fix a jammed locker, and once when she saw him secretly slip his dinner into the hands of a hungry recruit. She thought he was kind. She didn't know he was dangerous. That day, the cafeteria was unusually crowded, new recruits, visiting contractors, unfamiliar faces blending in. Emma had just sat down when she noticed Jacob storming in, his mop bucket abandoned at the door. He scanned the room with sharp precision, left corner, back exit, window line, uniform patterns, like a man who had done it 1,000 times. Then his eyes locked onto her. Emma straightened, confused. Jacob walked directly toward her, shoulders tense, jaw clenched. The closer he came, the stronger the unease in her stomach grew. He leaned over her table, pretending to pick up a dropped napkin, only to whisper urgently, "You're being watched. Don't look around. Pretend you're waiting for me. Pretend I'm your wife." Emma froze. "W what?" she whispered. Jacob didn't blink. His voice grew even quieter. "Someone followed you onto this base. They think you're alone. You're not. Not right now." Emma's heart hammered, adrenaline flooding her veins. She wanted to turn, to see who he meant, but Jacob touched her hand lightly, a gesture that looked affectionate but carried a warning. "Don't look," he murmured. "Just smile and act like we're meeting for lunch." Emma forced a shaky smile. Jacob smiled back, too naturally, too convincingly for a man who supposedly had no one. Behind them, footsteps approached. Jacob's eyes hardened. And in that moment, Emma realized something. Jacob wasn't panicking. He was preparing. "Stand up," Jacob whispered. "Follow my lead. Talk about anything, your day, your job, the weather. Just keep your voice steady." Emma rose, her legs trembling. Jacob placed a gentle hand on her shoulder, guiding her toward the side exit like a loving partner. To anyone watching, they looked like a couple. To the man following them, they suddenly looked like a problem. Emma swallowed. "Who's after me?" Jacob didn't answer immediately. He waited until they reached the hallway, checking both ends like a trained operative, not a janitor. Finally, he spoke. 3 days ago, you filed a supply audit about missing communication chips. The type that can reroute encrypted signals. You didn't know it, but the wrong people saw." Emma stopped cold. "But the system logs were private. Not to the man behind you," Jacob replied. "He's not here for lunch. He's here to make sure you never ask questions again." Emma's blood ran cold. "How do you know all this?" she whispered. Jacob met her eyes. "Because I used to hunt men like him." For the first time, she saw it. The soldier beneath the uniform of a janitor. The rigid posture. The controlled breath. The scanning eyes. "Who are you?" she whispered. "Someone who wanted a quiet life for his daughter," he replied. but trouble found me again. Before she could respond, Jacob pulled her into a storage room, closing the door quietly. He wasn't hiding, they were cornering. He grabbed a walkie-talkie from a shelf, one she didn't know janitors had access to. "Jacob, what are you doing?" Emma whispered. "Protecting you," he said simply. "And giving that man a chance to walk away before I stop being nice." Emma's throat tightened. This was not the quiet janitor she thought she knew. Behind the door, heavy footsteps halted. The handle rattled. Emma's breath caught. Jacob stepped forward, positioning himself between her and the door like a wall. The man outside tried again. Then a voice, a cold, unfamiliar voice, growled. "Ma'am Walker. We need to talk." Jacob's eyes sharpened. He whispered to Emma without turning. "When I open the door, stay behind me. This ends now." He reached for the handle. And Emma realized, somehow, someway, she trusted him completely.